Ryan writes in from Little Rock, Arkansas. Absolutely love your podcast. I love the spitballing, but more importantly, your methodology when it comes to financial advice. I drive an F-150 2017. Enjoy any Mexican beer with a lime on a hot day. I wrote before. I currently am saving for children's college through 529 plans that I've been funding over the last few years. I have about $90,000 and feel like I'm on track to reach the $300,000 total I will need to fund my children's schooling. I am aggressively invested with these funds. At what point do you recommend being more conservative with these investments? I understand these funds act as one large fund as they can be transferred to the next child. But do I pull money into a safer investment a couple of years before they start school? When do you recommend? What do you recommend? Also, my 529 are not through a state plan, but through Merrill Edge. I was told the investment options provide a better return. However, I forfeited some state tax relief. Did I mess up here? Let's answer this first.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, a 529 plan, real quickly, is a state-sponsored plan that you can invest in that gives you tax-free growth if used for higher education.
Right.
Each state has their own plan. Each state picks a provider, a custodian, to hold the funds. And so if you pick your state's plan, like Arkansas state plan, there's tax benefits if you use their plan.
Right. If you go to college in their state.
I'm not sure what that is.
And that's not all states, by the way. California doesn't have that.
Yeah, right.
So it depends upon your state.
So if he would have used Arkansas's plan, he would get some state tax benefits.
Potentially.
But the broker goes, hey, we have better investment options in ours, because the broker's not going to get paid on Arkansas's plan because he probably can't sell it.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with that.
So did he mess up here? Yeah, you messed up a little bit.
Well, we don't know that. Maybe.
Am I? In most 529 plans too, they have like, what's that stupid saying? The glide path.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, right.
So as your children get closer to college age, the funds could automatically become more conservative.
Right.
So I'm not sure what the Merrill Edge plan is.
I don't either. And apparently Ryan has 3 kids, age 13, 10, and 5. So absence of a glide path, I would personally, spitballing, would say I would be getting more conservative on my investments when my oldest got to probably, I don't know, 16, maybe something like that.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden you have the Great Recession.
Yeah.
That 300,000 is now worth $1.50.
That's right. So it's tricky. And plus it depends upon how much you're going to use for this kid and whether it's going to be used, right? I mean, it's really hard to have a generalization on this, but I think maybe a general answer would be, yeah, you want a little bit more conservative investments when you need the money.
Right. He's 13. So you got 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, before it's needed.
So I don't know if I were looking at a financial plan and someone were to come to me and say, Joe, I need this money in 5 years. How should I be invested?
Right.
The stock market is probably not the answer I'm going to give them.
Yeah, but if you look at this as one fund, as Ryan is, because it can be transferred from kid to kid, maybe you think about it differently.
Yeah, but then I'm looking at, okay, well, the 13-year-old, I want to make sure that I have enough conservative growth there to at least pay for that person's education. Right. And then the 10 and 5-year-old, I'm going to be more aggressive. So you have to do the math to kind of back into the equation.
And the other part of this is you don't need all the money when they're 18. You need maybe a quarter, right? Because it's 4 years or maybe even 5 years of college. So there's a lot of ways to think about it. But the general answer is yes. As you're closer to needing the money, you want to get more conservative, because if the market nosedives, then you're kind of stuck.
Yep. Lastly, I'm 40 with 3 kids, and my wife has just returned to work. Next year, we are entering the 32% tax bracket. I currently have about 300,000 in my 401k, only about 70,000 in Roth, since my company only started offering the Roth 401k a few years ago. At this point, everything I save is in Roth. Should I switch next year to save taxes, since my taxes will be so high? Also, is it good advice to just keep fully maxing out retirement accounts? With her 401 in mind in the IRAs, that's close to 50K a year. Is it wise, or should I do a split between retirement accounts, taxable accounts, and real estate? All right, good question. I'm allergic to this microphone, I think. My nose is just
It's going off.
she's
Huh?
flaring up, man. It's like itching. Sorry.
Hmm.
All right. Here's the rule of thumb that I would do
Okay.
is first thing, you want to invest in your 401k plan to the max. So they're matching. I would start there.
Sure.
And I think he's doing that. He's 40 years old, 32% tax bracket. I would go full Roth. Just
I know
Roth
you
it
would.
up.
I know you would.
I don't care because you're not going to miss the taxes. You're 40 years old. In 25 years from now, you're going to call me and thank me because all of your assets are tax free.
Right. Okay. I may disagree, but that's okay. Keep going.
So go there, Roth, and then keep funding. Go to the Roth IRA. And then I'll just Roth the hell out of this thing. He's got 300,000, 70,000 in Roth. That 300,000 is going to continue to compound. I don't know. I might switch it up a little bit, but I really like it. 40 years old.
Yeah.
With the amount of income that they're making, with the amount of assets that they've saved. But ideally, you want to be diversified from a tax perspective. So what that means is that you want to have money in tax deferred, you want to have money in taxable, and you want to have money in tax free. So because then you can really control your taxes in retirement. But if you have the opportunity to have everything tax free in retirement, I would much rather have that. But it really depends on your goals and liquidity needs and when you want to retire and things like that.
That it does. And so maybe a balance is to do half of each. I mean, if you're in a high tax bracket, so maybe you want the tax deduction. But I will tell you this, you're talking about next year. If the market is still down next year, go Roth, right? Because all that growth is going to come screaming back and be 100% tax free. If the market, on the other hand, has come roaring back, then maybe you pause a little bit. Maybe you do half and half. That's my thought.
Or maybe you look at, okay, now you're in the 32% tax bracket. That is taxable income of what?
It's
$340,000. So
yeah, right, exactly.
Big Rye from Little Rock
making
he's making some fat cash. Guys, geez, no Mexican beers. Well, where's the Dom Perignon?
I think you can upgrade to IPAs.
Yeah, or something. Wow. All right. So he's making some cash. So then it's like, all right, well, maybe I go pre-tax to get me in the 24% tax bracket. Right. So maybe him and his wife's income is 360,000 of taxable.
Sure.
So he's 10,000 into the 24% tax bracket. Maybe you put 10,000 in pre-tax to get him to the 24 and then everything else go Roth.
Yeah, that would be ideal, right?
So I would just look at the tax brackets and see where you fall. And then that could gauge your pre-tax versus Roth.
Okay, agreed.
Are you prepared for retirement? Schedule a free financial assessment with an experienced financial professional right online at purefinancial.com.